Hey guys, this is Kamal Sharma and in this video we will talk about hashing and consistent hashing technique. Hashing is a technique of converting an input key into value. The value is generally named as hash value and the function or method that does this transformation is called hash function. Simple hash function can be used like key, mod, n. To understand the importance of hashing and consistent hashing, let's take an example of cache server. We have an application that needs to use cache, so all frequent requests can be served directly from cache instead of hitting the database. Here we have a database and a cache server. Now reading and writing data on a single cache server is quite simple and straightforward. We don't have any problem and we don't need anything like hashing here. But for large systems, it is impossible to keep cache on a single server. So the cache needs to be distributed on more than one server. Such a type of cache is called distributed cache. Now we have more than one server, so we have to identify some method to distribute data on servers. Let's see an example of distributed cache where we will use a simple hashing technique for data distribution. We have n number of cache servers and now we have to select the key, then using a simple hash function calculating a hash value, and we can decide on which server data would be stored, and the same function can be used to read data from servers. Problem solved. But there are some problems in this technique. First problem is dependency on n. All the calculations are dependent on number of servers. If number of server changes, the hash value would also change. All the key and server mapping would be broken and have to map all the keys again. The another problem is load balancing. There can be unequal data distribution on different cache servers because everything is dependent on the key. For example, if we are using a zip code as a key, then one zip code can have more population density than another. Here consistent hashing comes to rescue. Consistent hashing is more efficient and doesn't depend on any number of servers. It introduces a concept of hash ring. Hash ring is nothing, it is an abstract circle and objects are assigned a position on the circle that minimizes the remapping and reorganization of data when nodes are added or removed. The minimum and maximum hash value can be from 0 to 360. All the keys would be placed on the abstract circle, and along with keys, the servers would also be assigned an angle. The angle of servers can be calculated using hashing based on the IP address or some other custom ID. Keys can be associated to the server using a simple rule. If we move from key to server in a clockwise direction, the key would be associated with the first appeared server. Using an abstract circle, the number of server dependency problem is solved because hash value would always be between 0 to 360. Let's see what happens when we add and remove server in consistent hashing. Let's talk about adding a server. If we add a new server, only keys between the new server and first available server in anti-clockwise direction would be reassigned. Here we are adding a server A1 between S2 and S3. Then all the keys that are in between S2 and A would be assigned to A1. All other keys would not be changed. Now let's talk about removing a server. If you remove a server in consistent hashing, only keys from that server would be mapped again to the other server. Here we remove server S2 and then all the keys from server S2 would be assigned to the next available server on the circle in the clockwise direction. In this case, all keys from server 2 would be assigned to A1. It solved our all key distribution problem and only removed server's key would be redistributed. But now one problem I am seeing here is that A1 server would be overloaded because it contains lot of data. Consistent hashing solved this problem in a very efficient manner. Instead of assigning a single label to the server, we can assign multiple labels to a server and calculate the angle of each label. This way, a single server is divided at multiple angles and it would distribute the entire load. This was the hashing and consistent hashing technique. If you have any question, comment and message me on LinkedIn. In the next video, we'll talk about application deployment strategy. Thanks for watching.